great day to talk hockey with Grant McCagg on HabsCast.
Every Sunday is a great day to talk hockey with my pal, Rick Springhetti. Rick, you're back from Trois-Rivières, are you?
Yes, sir. The mean streets of Trois-Rivières. Getting around, it's a heck of a drive. A lot of snow last night. The roads were incredibly slippery at some points, and a beautiful arena, though. A lot of fun to watch hockey there, and a lot of big afternoon of scouting. Gold, bronze, and gold medal game back to back. It was still a lot of fun. I was happy to be there and watching some good hockey.
Right on. Yes. In case you're wondering what he's talking about, the World Junior A Challenge was in the Junior A powerhouse Trois-Rivières with their famous Junior A hockey team. I'm a little perplexed why they'd have it there, but because they don't really have Junior A clubs in Quebec. They have different leagues, but I guess you gotta spread it around, right?
Yeah, well, it's like I said, it's a nice arena, and I think with the Videotron family involved in it, they were able to get some traction in that arena, and like I said, it was well done, and it was nice. I wish more people would have attended because I think they missed out on a really quality hockey. But again, it's Saturday nights. The city vibes on this team called the Montreal Canadiens, and then the whole province is into it. So,
well, yeah, that's right. They had to compete with Le Canadiens, who played in Madison Square Garden last night. Jacob Fowler, his second straight game where he had to wait like a half hour before puck drop. He must be thinking, geez, is this every game there? Does this that's 7:00 puck drop, and here it is 7:30 before they get around to it. But came down to earth a bit last night because save percentage wise, but I don't think you can put that loss on Jacob Fowler last night, can you?
No, they just are giving up way too many opportunities in the crease, and there's a lot of chasing around in the defensive zone again. On the first goal, of course, it had to happen. Mike Matheson, it's not the reason for it, but did you notice Mike Matheson's stick broke again? First goal.
Yeah. And then the last minute again, lost a stick. Seems like every last minute, if it's tied or within a goal, either breaks it or loses it. And then, he's got it. He may have to talk to a new stick manufacturer. I've got an old Easton aluminum, and I'm thinking of mailing it to him. I mean, I used it for 20 years and never broke it. So, I mean, that might say more about my slap shot, the power of my slap shot than anything. But I'm really thinking that I should, send it by perlator to the Montreal, the Bell Center, care of Mike Matheson. Here's my old Easton aluminum. Start using it. Like at the last minute of the game, just the last minute of the game, Switch to my old Easton aluminum, never breaks, and everything be good.
It would be fantastic. You send them the stick, they go on a winning streak. Next thing you know, they win the cup, and there's a movie made on this. Grant McCagg who sent the Habs the winning stick, and it's a Hallmark movie of the week.
Oh, boy. Yeah. You never know. On a more serious note, Matheson playing 27 minutes, Carrier playing 23. I went on a bit of a rant last night about it's fair to say that neither of them had particularly strong games last night. And I just think when a defenseman's not having an especially good game, or is it struggling, that you don't play him 27 minutes a game like they did Matheson last night. It seems like it doesn't matter how they're playing. It's like, okay, Matheson plays 27 minutes regardless if he's struggling or not. And, Engstrom, who played better than Matheson last night, plays 11. I realize he's the rookie, all that stuff, but and he doesn't get as tough of matchups. But I really wish that there was a little more based on how the game is going. It doesn't seem like the Canadiens ever adjust. This is the way it's going to be. This is the way the lines are going to be. This is the way the defense pairings are going to be, regardless of how they're playing. Do you find that that's sometimes the case, or?
Yeah, I think with Marty St. Louis, he's got a very rigid vision of what, development is. And, we saw it last year with Lane Hudson. We saw it this year with Oliver Kapanen. You got to give him 15 to 20 games before he starts to really trust you as a rookie. And he just doesn't move from that. And there's a huge difference to me between playing 8, 9, 10 minutes a game to 25 minutes a game. You don't have to give Engstrom 20, 21, 22 minutes, but you could get to 13, 14. And it's been shown time and time again that Mike Matheson can't be effective when he plays usually 26, 27 minutes a game. You keep him at 22, you get better hockey from him.
Yeah.
And you need him to be at his best because he has all the difficult roles on the team. He's got all the difficult missions. Why wouldn't you want him to be at his best under those circumstances? And he doesn't, and then it kind of snowballs into other things. But we're seeing it, right? You can only go so far when you're addressing your extra forwards and extra defensemen. And right now, part of it I think is maybe a little bit of running out of steam, where that fourth line just doesn't give you enough, and the bottom 6 defensemen, bottom 5-6 defensemen start to struggle because over the long run they're just taking on too many minutes. But to your point, yeah, I would have liked to have seen just a better breakdown of the minutes. You could have given Ekstrom a little bit more, and also it was a pretty quick moving New York Rangers team, and he's a good skater, so you're playing into his wheelhouse. Give him that opportunity. It wasn't a hard-pounding, physical, grinding game, which would have been probably more difficult for Engstrom. It was a game where people were skating and moving, and he could have handled himself, I think, under those circumstances.
Yeah. No, I thought Engstrom was fairly solid again. In the first period, Liam pointed out to me, you don't always catch everything, but he mentioned to me that he kind of got overwhelmed a little bit by the pressure, got muscled off the puck a couple of times in the first period. But I thought as the game went along, he adjusted pretty well. And it's funny, you're talking about forwards too. This was an interesting stat last night. Joe Veleno getting 15-51 in ice time. Kapanen 15-12, Demidov 15-18, Slav 15-43. Joe Veleno in 30 games this year, Rick, has 1 point. You're in a close game, you're in a tie game, and you're playing Joe Veleno. 1 point every 30 games, Joe Veleno, more than you are Slav, Demidov, and Kapanen. I get that he gets, he likes the veterans. I get it, but that just is. I find that his player usage might be one of the, and I often have this issue with Canadiens coaches in the past, so it's a common theme. But sometimes the player usage just doesn't really add up for me.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. And it wasn't that Kapanen, Slavkovsky, and Demidov's best game.
No,
in some aspects.
Or
but
Joe
again, 1 point. It's like, okay, it's not their best game, but your option is not any better right now. So you kind of ride what you have, right?
Yeah.
It boggles my mind that and yes, I understand. I think Veleno's getting penalty kill time. Fine, I get it, but it should be 15 minutes, both of them. Not even close. Come on.
No.
I don't understand what the point is. You play your guys that could do something. Again, especially with a team like the Rangers that are not always the best defensively and they're a skating team. My gosh, like Kapanen, Slavkovsky, and Demidov are made for that. Like, this is in their wheelbarrow. Give them the opportunity to play. And if there's any adjustments to make and any teaching moments, well, You have coaches there. Talk to them and say, "This is not working well. You're not doing this good. Let's go. Get it together." And they're willing to learn, and they can. So I don't get why. Like, what are you hoping happens with Veleno getting 15 minutes a game? What could happen? He's only got 1 point, and it's not like he's also getting all these opportunities. Nothing happens really, right? So you're not going to get anything.
Yeah, the last shift of regulation time, Marty put out a line of Veleno, Kapanen, and Evans. Now, was he playing Kitty the bar to the door at that point, or what? It was, like he was on the penalty kill. I get that you want to get the point at that, and I actually didn't mind it the last shift, because to me, the important thing was getting it to overtime, and the Canadiens have been really good in overtime this year. But then what bothered me was after the 2-minute shift by Suzuki and Caulfield, the next pairing that went out, Kapanen, okay, I was okay with that, but Jake Evans. Now, this year, up until now, the Canadiens have been really good in overtime, in large part because Marty's been putting out his best against the other team's best and saying, we can beat you with skill. We have, and it's worked. And but last night, for whatever reasons, he was taking a page from the Claude Julien coaching manual, where you play not to lose instead of playing to win in overtime. And that usually is not a recipe for success, I find. Jake Evans on, the second wave, and what happened? He got a penalty, and the Rangers scored, while he was in the box, I do believe. So it didn't work out. And I just wish they'd have gone with Demi or Slav or Demidov with Kapanen on the second wave and go for it instead of we're playing not to lose instead of playing to win. And up until this point in the year, Marty had been doing that. Just put out the best offensive players, because Montreal has more skill than the Rangers, like up front, like 4 deep, 5 deep. These guys are made for 3-on-3, like Demidov especially.
Yeah.
But you go with Evans. You already got Kapanen. You already got the defensive center out there.
Yep.
Why do you need 2 defensive centers out on your second wave?
Yeah, right shot defensive centers on top of it, right? It's not like you're getting a lefty right. You're getting 2 right shot ones.
Oh, should have had Veleno. Should have had Veleno instead. Is that what you?
Let's say that.
Yeah. Oh, you just went fuzzy.
High def to regular def, and it works better. But hey, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
The issue too is that, one thing too, I don't think Ekstrom played on the overtime. Man, I would have liked to have seen him. Right, he moves the puck so well. He skates the puck up the ice so well. He gains the blue line so well. Gosh, I would have given him an opportunity there. He's comfortable in those situations. I think it plays to his strengths. It's a bit disappointing too, and the danger to playing it safe, Grant, to me, is that if you're telling everybody to be careful, play it safe, you're kind of mentally making them anxious almost. Like, right, careful, be careful, don't do anything, be careful. Just and it kind of takes away from the fluidity that the Habs need to be successful. The puck movement, holding on to the puck, skating into open ice. I think part of the reason why the team sometimes struggle in their own zone might be the be careful message that they get sometimes, that you got to be careful, and you got to find that middle ground too, or you're saying, no, be careful, but make plays, do stuff, make things happen. And I wonder sometimes if that's not one of the issues right now that's happening. As the team struggles defensively, you see Marty's body language getting more and more, almost uncomfortable, and part of it maybe might be rubbing off on some of the players. So, they're going to need to get like a few wins in a row, but luckily their record overall has been good. They went on the road. They had 3 out of a possible 4 points. Hey, you take it.
Yeah. Well, Jacob Fowler for his career is a .750 win percentage goalie. And what's his win percentage after 2 games in the NHL? 3 out of 4 points. That adds up to .750 win percentage, like 75%. So, so far he's doing in the NHL what he did in the USHL and what he did in college. So, not bad. Yeah, it's almost like maybe Marty thinks he has to try to protect the rookie goalie in nets, even though so far he still played better than Monty has all year. So,
yeah,
I don't know. I'd have put out Veleno, Evans, and Carrier. When you're in overtime with Monty in nets, maybe you tried to string a. He's kind of doing it. He's kind of doing it the opposite of how I do it. But yeah, that's neither here nor there. Anyway, they're the coaches. We're not, but still, we're allowed to complain about it, right?
Sir, we are.
Now, the Laval Rocket played yesterday. Or no, sorry, it was Trois Rivières. No, I'm being told it was Laval that played. They had quite a depleted lineup after the big line brawl. Did you see any of that? You must have saw a couple of highlights of the hit that Pizzetta had, and then the skirmish after. It's funny. I did. Like Joshua Roy didn't even get a minor penalty, during that skirmish, and I'm thinking, he was just punching the guy in the head with his glove on from behind, and then he gets, they looked at the video. The video's all over social media. It's kind of hard to, you can't avoid it. You gotta turn around, suspend the guy for it, right? But they, Dauphin, Blais, Roy, basically your top line, with Beck up and Davidson up and all the recalls, top line out. It's funny, like the guy that came to his defense and that had the main fight, and then basically was in the scrap with the other guy. Well, like was him and Belzile. In Jackeye, he didn't get suspended, but everybody else did.
Everybody else did. Well, they were going to get some suspensions. I mean, they were on the bench. They got involved, which is not a good idea. But on top of it, it's a Toronto-based team, right? So we can't accept that. we gotta cut that off right away. But no, I hated the hit by Pizzetta. I just thought, it wasn't like a reactionary play. He jumped on, went right to him, took a lot of strides, knew full well that Delgado was not. No, it was his blind side, and it's too bad because I think Pizzetta's a good, honest player usually, but I really hated that hit, and I'm happy that Jackeye stood up for him and did it so passionately and so emotionally. I think that's just great that he did that, because that's a fight that I could get behind anytime.
Yeah, no, Pez, it was out of character for him, I thought, for sure. And it's too bad that a former Hab was the one that, that ended up doing the blind side. I didn't hear. What was the suspension for Pez? Did you hear? Or have they?
It's 3 games, I think. But and sadly, it's one Italian on another Italian, which tugs at my heartstrings a little bit.
Yeah.
But no, it's I believe it's 3 games, but there was I just don't know to be 100%. But again, it's just too bad that it had to happen.
Weird that he'd get the same as the other guys, but oh well, that's hockey. We don't always know. It's not always predictable what they're going to be doing. Yeah. So, any word on who's starting tonight against Edmonton?
No, nothing has come out yet. The last I checked was no news yet. I suspect it's going to be in the afternoon. We're going to find out. I suspect it's going to be Monty, to be honest with you,
Yeah.
because he's the one who's been kind of around the team a little bit more. I don't know what. I haven't seen Dobish around anywhere, but I'm thinking it's going to be Monty tonight, who's going to take on a hard Edmonton team. And boy, if there's an opportunity for him to kind of, maybe start getting out of his funk, this would be it. A big home game. We say road game usually, but the Habs have been better on the road than they've been at home, so it's a bigger challenge tonight versus Edmonton. But really, it's a good opportunity for him to get some confidence back, make some saves. I really hope it works out well, but boy, the Habs have been struggling at home all year, especially defensively. So they're really going to have to dig in deep. Hopefully, after a bad game, they came out with a point, but they did not play well. Hopefully, this will be a little bit of a wake up call today, and they will come out strong. I'd like to see Engstrom play a little bit more minutes. I know it's a juggernaut offensively with McDavid and Draisaitl and other guys, but Engstrom could skate. I think that'll help. I think Struble gets back in, obviously, for the same reason, for the skating ability. I think this game would be very hard on Jack Guy, to be honest. But I would tell, I'd really have a talk with Struble, too, and tell him, skate, play the body, be hard around the crease. I get the feeling that you've gotten away a little bit from that, but start the game with one hard hit and take it from there. That would be my message to Struble tonight, if he does actually come in.
I don't know if he got complacent or whatever, not being out of the lineup. When he first came in to the lineup, I thought he was great, and he got away from that. He lost some confidence, I guess, along the way, or something. But not playing physical enough, not skating like he can. There had been a decline in his game in the last couple of weeks, and I hope that he can get back to it, because he can be. He can be a key contributor. What did you think, Matheson and Carrier as a defense pair, and what's been your impression so far of that?
I think Carrier is struggling generally, and that kind of rubs off a little bit on Matheson. And again, we talked a little bit about it before, where the extra minutes are not helping him. You really got to keep him at 21, 22 somehow, and have faith in your younger players. Again, Struble's going to have to step up and show that he could play well tonight and handle a little bit more minutes to give Matheson that break. And Carrier again struggling too. The team desperately needs Goulet back, or as you so well suggested, maybe they need a call up from Laval, a certain big right-handed defenseman that could help. But there's just right now they're relying on 3 defensemen to carry the load, and the other 3 are struggling. Not as much extra, but he's not playing enough minutes to be a factor either. So it's just not balanced well right away, and that's going to be the big issue, I think. And tonight you're going to pay for it if you're not careful.
Yeah. Well, if Edmonton, as I suspect might happen, just lights it up tonight, maybe you have to look at bringing up Reinbacher, right, and see if he can help stem the tide there. There's some size. He's very good one-on-one defending. Good size, has some physicality, he's poised. He'd be nice with Goulet not in the lineup right now, and I think really being missed. The closest thing you have to it in the organization right now is Reinbacher. So I guess that they're being a little careful with him, given how few pro games he's played in North America, but I think he's ready for a look. Typically, a top 5 defenseman, a top 5 pick in the NHL draft by the age of 21, it gets a look, right? And he looks like he's ready for that. I hope that if they lose tonight and the defensive struggles are obvious again, including Carrier, I hope they give Reinbacher a look. I'd put Matheson back with Dobson, I think, and Struble with Hudson.
Mm-hmm.
I'd also consider maybe Engstrom and Hudson didn't look too bad together either. That this is a fast skating team. That would be another possibility of having. I didn't mind Hudson with Dobson, but uh, I mean, you'd have to play him 40 minutes a game, you know, because Matheson Carrier, I'm sorry, but that just playing those guys 23, playing Carrier 23 and Matheson 27 and together, I just don't think it's working. And I don't, you know, I think Carrier has to be right now has to be in the third pairing, whatever the
Yes,
combinations are.
100%. And well, the advantage too with Engstrom is that he has played mostly on the right side too. So maybe there's something to consider there, moving him to the right and see what you could do with that. You'd keep the top four the same, but maybe you have Struble and Engstrom, let's say, on your third pairing, playing bottom, no, bottom pairing minutes.
But then
Maybe
there's
give them a little
Carrier.
bit more than usual because they do move both. Both of them at least move pretty well. I think that's the advantage you have with both of them. Bit of a little bit of a challenge for Engstrom, but again, he's played a lot of right D in the last year with Laval, and he's handled it really well. Maybe there's an idea to consider there too.
But then then you keep the top four the same as they were last game?
Yeah, the top you keep the top four the same as they were. It's not perfect, I know, but maybe that third pairing might find some chemistry, and they could play a little bit more minutes, and then you kind of balance out the pairings a little bit more, where Matheson and Carey are not playing,
Right.
24, 25 minutes, but there's no perfect solution really until either they call up Reinbacher or Goulet comes back. I mean, no matter where you go with this, I think it's going to be really, really difficult. But I think overall, at the end of the day, I think your suggestion, Grant, makes the most sense. Get Dobson and Matheson back together. No, Hudson and Struble back together, and then maybe you got Carrier and Engstrom on the third line. I think that makes the most sense to me.
Yeah. Engstrom and Struble played second last game together, and
Okay.
they kind of rotated. Like you couldn't tell. They played about the same amount on the right side. It seemed like they were switching it back and forth quite a bit, right? Struble played a fair bit on the right side at Northeastern in college too, and that was one of the reasons why they started off with him on the right side with that pairing,
Yes.
and they kind of moved it back and forth. So I'm not really sure what the. I'd like to get the breakdown on how much each played, but you also, depending on like offensive zone starts, they often switch the side. It's often switch sides, right? Because you want the shot.
Yes.
If you win the faceoff, you want the shot.
Yeah.
And then they also do it in the defensive zone at times. On the draws, they'll switch the pairings. But they were doing. I couldn't figure out who was the right defenseman and who was the left with them. It seemed like it was all over the place with the two of them. I don't know if that's when you're playing man-to-man defense. I'm not sure that it's a recipe for success necessarily. If you don't know who's on the right and who's on the left. But I don't know. I'm not sure until Goulet's back or Reinbacher, as you say. We can criticize Robida to a certain degree, but I mean, if you don't have the players there to, it's tough. There's no perfect solution right now to what the pairing should be and who I would just like to see Matheson. Matheson needs to be under 25 minutes a game, as far as I'm concerned, and Carrier, not 22 plus. 18 to 20, I think, is good for Carrier. 20 to 25 for Matheson, somewhere in that range, preferably 23 or less. I thought Hudson was really good last game.
Yeah,
I maybe look at riding him a little more. Given Hudson, he's inexhaustible. 25 to 30 minutes for Hudson. That's the one guy I don't mind because I think he's got the stamina and doesn't have an ounce of fat on him. If there was one guy, it'd be him, and maybe double shift him at times. Maybe play Hudson and Dobson fairly regular, but then also have Hudson go out with Matheson at times and stuff. I don't know. If they're going to have one guy open 25 plus right now, in my mind, it should be Hudson and maybe Dobson, but not Matheson.
I agree. And again, it comes up to again what we were saying before about just the lack of depth, right? We're all saying the same. We're kind of saying the same thing, and it's like nobody plays really badly if they play within their time limit that they should be playing with. But too many guys are.
Yeah.
And I couldn't agree more about Hudson. It's that narrative that he's got to be sheltered defensively. Hopefully, it's starting to go away now. He can play good defense, man. He wins his battles.
Yeah.
He gets the puck out of his zone. He doesn't make a ton of mistakes. Like put him in defensive situations more and more. Like you said, give him time.
Yeah.
I have no problem with that. He's been really, really good. He makes life hard for opponents. Let me tell you, and you could tell the way he engages, the way he blocks the stick, the way he moves the puck quickly, the way he forces opponents to check. He breaks down the team's offense in his own zone, the opponent's offense in his own zone just by his shiftiness and again, great way to defend is to get the puck out of your zone, and that's what he does really well.
Yeah, no, for sure. All right, well, that's half hour on the Habs. I guess we got to get to prospects here.
Yes, sir.
You have a draft prospect of the week who just continues to keep tearing it up in the WHL. Why don't you tell us about the player that you had a look at this week?
I went with center winger. He's playing boat with Kamloops. JP Albert, Texas-born player that went in the USND DP program last year. Came down to the WHL. Again, he's playing. I've seen him play center. I've seen him play wing. He kind of goes back and forth with his line mates, with Nathan Beam, who's playing really well, by the way. After being drafted last year, he's really taken a step up. But JP Albert I see him mostly as a winger at the next level. I don't think he's going to be a center. Doesn't have the size and strength to really handle that position. His shot is really, really good. He really finds the openings. He places them well. He gets them off quickly. He's got especially good wrist shot, but also a very good one-timer. Again, very well placed. I don't think his creativity is off the charts with the puck when it comes to passing plays, but what he does is he makes passes moving quickly, which causes a lot of problems for opponents. So he could find openings well, stick handles really well. There's been criticism on his skating. I don't quite see it. I think it's more of a strength issue because he's only 175 pounds, 280 pounds, 6 foot, but he seems to lack a lot of strength. He gets beat quite a bit physically. He's very, very conscientious of his defensive role. He comes in deep regularly, doesn't cheat in that aspect of the game. Not always perfect decision making, but he's involved and he's getting better. Where's the A for his team already? Seems like a very vocal guy from what I could tell on the clips. So, I see him as a really good 20 to 30 option. I like his game overall. I like his hockey IQ. He's got some tools that are projectable in terms of development physically, but I see him as a winger in the next level. I do not see him as a center.
Everything that you have said to me reminds me, when you're describing him, reminds me to a certain degree of Tarek Perzak. It sounds like they're similar size. They're skinny, smart players. Quite a bit of skill. Perzak went 20 to 30, right? He ended up going. early in the year, you're thinking, oh, he's too small to be a first-round guy. Yeah, he's putting up good stats, but, NHL guys need to see it over consistently throughout the year typically before a 160, 165-pound winger could be considered for the first round. You gotta basically do it consistently. And hey, Hurlbert, and I'm pretty sure it's pronounced Hurlbert, by the way. He's got it. There's an R in there. And I know when you sent me the clips, you spelled it Hulbert. So if you spell it that way, you're gonna pronounce it that way. But it is Hurlbert. He's been at the top of the WHL scoring race all season long. So in your draft year, when you're leading a league in scoring, after a while, the scouts should say, okay, despite the deficiencies there, like he doesn't have the ideal size skating combo that you typically look for in a first round prospect.
Yeah.
And Parizak was the same. Well, just when your IQ's up here, above other players, and your skill level's good, those are guys that end up, beating the odds and often end up becoming top six or at the worst third line productive players at the NHL level.
And I think there's a willingness to do stuff. There's a willingness to engage. Again, he does try to engage physically, just doesn't do it with much success. There's a willingness to play defensively, although sometimes he might miss an assignment here and there. When there's a willingness to do these things, there's a real possibility that they're going to get better and they can improve on it. And by all accounts, he's got really good, really good work habits, really good, very coachable guy. So again, as you said so well, you're projecting for 4 or 5 years ago and the possibility of improvement. And I think he's got it, Grant. I think he really could. I think he's the kind of guy that's going to develop over the long run really well. So a really interesting pick. I see him in the 20, 25 area right now. But, not impossible that he goes even a bit higher than that. I really would not be surprised at all if he continues to produce.
Yeah. Well, I don't think it's a really, really deep draft by the looks of things. So you've got a few clips here. Do you want to have a look at them?
Sure, absolutely. Let's do that.
Okay.
So here he comes. I'll have to kind of see it better. But
defensive play?
Yeah.
Okay.
But without my glasses, it's always a little harder for me. He's number 2. Here he comes. Like this play. He's going to set up a lot of room. He's got a secondary pass here, but he should almost get a first pass because he's the one who drew everybody out, created that opening for his teammates. Really good stick handling.
There he turned over the puck, did he?
Yeah, a little bit, but he still came in.
Yeah, back
he's
check.
Still going to battle.
Yeah.
And there he's going to get the puck out now.
Yep. Nice. Oh, nice.
Nice pass. And boom.
Okay.
Really good one-timer. Really well aimed.
Yeah. Now, this is his first year in Kamloops?
Yeah, this is first year in Kamloops. So he's kind of a captain. Yeah, already.
That's
a good defense there, right? He followed through.
Yep.
Still involved.
Yeah, I like that for sure. You like a guy that when he's at the top of the, top of the scoring race.
A little bit.
Yep.
But there he goes. He's going to come back again at some point. He's always one of the first guys back, always quick to get in there. And then, boom, he's going to get the puck and get it right back out. Because he's getting involved in the play, he's back checking. And then it was a long shift. He played it safe, just got it in deep, proper line change. No issues right there. But just some smart play there.
So now he's in white. He wasn't.
Yeah.
That might have confused some people there, including me.
Another good one-timer there.
Yeah.
Here he goes again.
He's on the left there in white, by the way.
Yeah.
Like you're not able to highlight these guys, so
No, I'm trying to figure that out. It's all new to me.
People
but
need
again,
to
he's
know.
back.
People need to know, who we're talking about here.
Yeah.
Now he has the puck.
Yeah, and again,
Nice.
really good at that.
His east-west. He's got some agility there. It looks like, right?
Right, and he stick handles well without slowing down when he's changing directions, which you've seen guys do a little bit of hesitation. There isn't a lot of hesitation when he does have the puck, and he changes speeds pretty well too. Changes gears. You like to get that explosiveness. He doesn't have it yet. As he gains it, again, I think there's a real possibility for growth. I'd be curious to know, Grant, how he's going to do in the testings, right? When we do the combines. I think that's going to be a really, really important combine for him in particular to see how much physical development is available. But I think the skill, the intelligence, and the willingness is all there. If you think he could develop a lot physically and there's a lot of roadway in the front of him, I think you got something there. I really do.
Good stuff. Okay. That's our draft prospect of the week from Recruits HabsCast's Chief Amateur Scout, Rick Springhetti. Thanks, Rick.
Thank you.
And appreciate that you went to Trois Rivières and then went back to the shack and we're going to freeze, so you had to end up going home, right? It was
there was some electrical issues, and I had to come home at midnight in bad weather. It was not fun, but it's okay. It was worth it to watch some good hockey. It's not a problem.
Yeah. See what I put this guy through as put him designate him as the chief amateur scout, and he's friggin', going above and beyond for us, and then having to watch the Habs game at 7:00 this morning so we could talk about it. Well, I really appreciate your sacrifice that you made for this show, and that's great, Rick. Great stuff.
Thank you.
I have a couple of Western Hockey League guys now for Habs Prospect of the Week. We'll start with the runner-up, and that would have to be Hayden Papanicus, who had a 5-point night last night, which is pretty impressive. Here are his 2 goals. Here are his 2 goals that he had. Look at how humble he is, eh? But he's got a good shot. Not as good as the next guy we're going to feature, but a good shot. Here you see it. A good wrister. 5-point night last night. He's on a 6-game consecutive point streak. So he looks like he's getting. Oh, this was a kind of a funny one. He sort of hit the glove of the goalie. The puck bounced straight up in the air, and I thought the other guy had touched it, his teammate, but that angle showed that he never did. But he added 3 assists. 5-point night last night, his biggest game in the WHL so far. But he looks like he's getting over the mono. It typically takes you a month at least to get your strength back, a stamina back, and we're starting to see the potential that the Canadiens saw when they picked him in the 3rd round last year. I wouldn't be surprised if, the rest of the year he's a point per game guy. He's certainly been given a top 2 center role in Kelowna, and they want him to, reach that next level and help Kelowna become a competitive team because they are hosting the Memorial Cup this year. They're going to pick up a couple more pieces. I'm sure the host teams always do that when they're not that strong. And here's hoping that it's not 2 centers and that he gets bumped down to 4th center spot or something like that. But no, I don't see that happening.
No,
McGinley's been playing some center too, but if they do pick up a center, another top 2 center, what will likely be happening is the put Ginla back on the wing.
Makes sense.
he's the honorable mention, but hey, you gotta go Pickford again.
Oh
This
man.
Bryce Pickford. I'll just show a few highlights here, and then I've got some stats that I'm going to throw at you that are kind of mind blowing. Here, they stopped doing the jump around thing celebration, I think, because they're probably getting sore ankles from having to do it 3-4 times a game for this guy scoring goals. He has 12 goals in his last 7 games. It's just absolutely ridiculous. But it's the other 2 stats that I'll get to in a minute that are just mind blowing. But as you can see here, it's just his shot is just so freaking good. I've never seen I've never seen a defense prospect with a more accurate shot. It's just like, look at the goalie. He just doesn't stand a chance. He took a swing at it, but it's so fast and so accurate. And again, here, look at the right under the crossbar off the top. Goalies don't stand a chance. And this is going to be it's going to be the same thing for NHL goalies. When you can shoot like him, he's going to score goals. Now look at this one.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, that's the game winner last night.
Oh,
end to end. He has scored all types of goals. It's not just his slapper, not just his wrist shot. He does end-enders. He does dekes. A little bit of everything. But I guess, hey, when you're leading the WHL in goal scoring as a defenseman, you are going to score a lot of different types, right?
Yes.
That looked like a Mario Lemieux on Ray Bourque. And then right top corner again.
Unreal.
It's just how he didn't get picked for Canada's to go to camp is just ridiculous at this point. They got to be thinking, gee, maybe we made a mistake there, right?
Oh, man. Did you hear, Grant, the story that came out in the media this week about his invite? Because he was drafted as an overage player, right? And he was invited to a development camp by Detroit.
Yeah.
Right before he was drafted by the Habs. And he says, no, I'm not going. You didn't want me? I'm not going.
Yeah,
I love the confidence, right?
Fate, right? Well, yeah, I mean, but Pickford had like 2 goals in his draft year or something like that, And then last year he scores, counting the Memorial Cup, 35. If you count his last 8 playoff games, I'd have to look it up again, but he's getting really close in his last 40 games counting playoffs. He's very close to a goal a game now. He's on pace for 53 goals this year. Now, I did some digging. AI, artificial intelligence, tells you that Troy Mick holds the Canadian junior record of 63 goals by a defenseman, but there's no way that he just played defense. He's listed in all hockey databases as a / right winger defenseman, and I haven't been able to confirm it yet. I did a lot of research, but nothing comes right out and says that he played both, but he had to have. If that's, and there have been a few through the years that did that. The OHL record holder is Paul Reinhart with 51, but he was a hybrid at the time too, playing for Kitchener in the OHL. 51 goals, but he played up front some. The next guy in the OHL is Brian Berard with that wicked season he had, remember? But he also played up front on power plays and certain situations. So he wasn't a full-fledged defenseman. Bryce Pickford is. And from what I can gather, it's Ron Shudra had 49 goals playing with Rob Brown. Remember Rob Brown played with Mario Lemieux and scored 50 goals?
Yes.
But he had like a 200-point season in Kamloops, okay? And this defenseman was kind of, he got to, these are in the days when goals for were like 5, with some junior teams 5-6 goals. Not today's era, but he had 49 goals playing for Kamloops at the time, and playing with Rob Brown, who had 200 plus that year points. Now, and now there's also a defenseman that played in Rouyn-Noranda, Oleg Timchenko, Ukrainian. He was overage. He scored 49, and that's the QMJHL record. Marc-Andre Bergeron, former Hab, remember? He had 42. He had 42, so the second most in. But basically, the record, because I just got Dennis Holland's email, longtime amateur scout for the Dallas Stars.
Okay.
I'm gonna. He scored 82 goals the year that Troy Mick scored 63, and I'm going to email him just to confirm. Hey, did this guy play defense all year, or was he kind of back and forth? And I'm almost 100% positive that he, most of those goals came playing forward, and probably with Dennis Holland. So I'm going to email him after this show and ask him. I just got it during the show, the email from a scout, and hopefully Dennis can confirm that Troy Mick wasn't a full-time junior defenseman, but from all accounts, 49 is the record as far as I, for a full-time defenseman in junior hockey. And Bryce Pickford, not that he's going to do it necessarily, but at the rate he's going, he might get 70. He's on pace for 53 goals this year, leading the WHL. He's second in junior hockey in goal scoring, just behind Van Acker, and this is a defenseman. So it's unbelievable what he's doing. But I haven't even got to the best part yet, Rick. He is on a 6-game multi-goal streak. Now, let's just see here. Oh, okay. The NHL record for multi-goal games is jointly held by Joe Malone and Punch Broadbent. Now we're talking like 1921-22. Malone scored 42 goals in 20 games or something like that year. Like, it was ridiculous, right?
Right.
But they hold the NHL record of 6. Now, he's had 5 multi-goal games in a row, and he's a defenseman. But 3 guys in the NHL have 5 in the modern day, and their names: Connor McDavid, Alexander Mogilny, and Mario Lemieux. So that's the kind of company he's in when when you look at the NHL record. Now, there's no way of getting the WHL record or the CHL records for this. They just don't have those type of stuff. You'd have to go through every friggin' game ever played. And I mean, I'm not, I like research, but I'm not that maniacal about it. But here, again, that's impressive, right? 6 straight or 5 straight multi-goal games. We'll see if he can tie Joe Malone and Punch Broadbent in his next game. But here is the most impressive stat.
Oh, man. Oh, boy.
He has the last, and I don't know why this hasn't been on social media, but I've double checked it, triple checked it. He has scored the game-winning goal in the last 5 games. Now,
wow.
This is something I picked up from Sportsnet. Michael Raffle has scored the game-winning goal in 3 straight games. Only 2 players have done it in 4 straight in NHL history: Daniel Alfredson and Newsy Lalonde. Newsy, of course, 1920-21, former Hab, and Alfie, of course, longtime Ottawa Senator. So nobody in the NHL history has had game-winning goals in 5 straight games. And we're talking about a defenseman, Rick. A defenseman with 5 straight game-winning goals in the WHL, which is just absolutely mind-boggling. This kid, how could he not have been invited to the? Like, they mustn't have been watching him, because I mean, I put up video before he went on this and saying, "This kid's got to be invited. He's the best defenseman in junior hockey right now. He can't be an invite to this camp." Guy from the Western League, Ethan McKenzie, and I hate to keep harping on him, but Pickford has more goals in the last 7 games than McKenzie has all year. Let alone his season stats. But yeah, it's absolutely incredible what Bryce Pickford's doing. The right side looks so promising in the future. I mean, I wish they could do an emergency call up for Pickford right now, maybe, but Reinbacher and Pickford, it's coming, folks. Right now, the defense is in a bit of a flux, and there's, I think it's the biggest issue with the team right now is the defense. But Gooley, Pickford, Reinbacher, when they're in there, we got to be patient. But the Canadiens' defense at that point will be more than fine. It's going to be fun.
Oh man,
it's going to be fun. The future on the blue line in Montreal.
oh, thanks for all that work, Grant. Like, I'm blown away, and I was blown away before, and I'm really blown away. And my God, another thing too, that you were talking about some of the other players playing a lot of forward, and in particular, Bergeron. He scored a ton of goals, but his game was really based on being a power play specialist. He played the whole 2 minutes on the power play. Everything went through him. Pickford plays a two-way game. He plays defense well too. You're not sheltering him. You're not putting him on. You don't have to worry about that. Pickford contributes physically, as we saw last week, right, where he defended one of his teammates. And he does everything on top of scoring a bunch of goals, scoring important goals.
Yeah.
So, my gosh, how can you ask for more?
Yeah. Well, Brian Berard didn't play defense or the lick. He was all offense. No, well, pretty much. Actually, Berard wasn't that bad defensively, but I mean, that was just a special year for him. That year, just incredible. And but Paul Reinhart, good defense, like a really good defenseman. If he'd never had back issues, Wayne Gretzky called him the most talented player in the NHL when he was playing. Like, just unfortunately, he ran into back issues, and we never saw the full his full potential. But I mean, Brian Berard, first overall pick, right?
Was that first? Yeah, I think it was first overall pick that year.
Or second.
By memory, but
Chris Phillips was first, and Berard was second, and then they
he's in the
flipped
top 5.
But anyways, top 2, and Paul Reinhart, who Wayne Gretzky said was the most talented player in the NHL when he was playing. So that's pretty good company, right?
I think so. Incredible, just incredible.
Yeah. Well, anyways, that's the Habs prospect of the week. I would venture to guess the world prospect of the week, not just the Habs prospect of the week. Like, nobody else is doing that. So it's pretty cool that he happens to be a 3rd round pick of the Montreal Canadiens. All right,
well,
Rick.
Thank you so much for all the work, Grant. You really taught me a lot with all these stats.
Yeah, well, I hope I taught some people that are going to watch this. Let's hope. Okay, Rick. That'll do it for tonight. You around tonight? Gonna be around?
Yeah, I should be around tonight. No problem. I
Post-game?
could maybe drop in and say a little hello.
Yeah, okay. If you can join me for a few minutes. I might be
Yeah,
doing it on my couch tonight. I think the young lads, he needs a night in the
absolutely.
in the gaming room here. So I might be doing it from the couch tonight, the post game. But
Cool.
it'd be great if you could join
Awesome.
me for a bit. Okay.
Thank you. I'd love to. Thanks very much for the invite.
Okay. Thanks, Rick, and thanks for all your hard work. You're driving in a snowstorm, getting up at 7, so you could you know give your thoughts on the Habs game last night. Missing the game, yet another one. So love, I love that you put so much hard work
Thank you.
into today's show, and we will see you tonight.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Rick, and thank you everyone for tuning in. And we'll talk to you hopefully tonight after the Oilers get swamped by the Habs 6-3. Okay, bye for now.
Thank you.